That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
What is up, fam? We are back. We are live here on A2D Radio for another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, Steve, being joined by this freaking degenerate over here, this freaking goofy guy, Mr. freaking Zach.
I love how I look like. I love how I look like just a head, Steven. Like it's like there's nothing else. I'm just a head. Like that's also. Oh my. Okay, you can see my hands too. Okay, but like it's just we're in my car until 9 o'clock. Because the girlfriend's working, there's certain circumstances. It's complicated down here, and it's also storming and raining, and you know, which is funny to me because we could get into this in a little bit. But one of our own is at WrestleMania down here in Tampa, and it could possibly turn into a total shitstorm. But you know, fingers crossed that you know. Everything goes good. I'm just saying. I'm about 40 minutes from Tampa, and it's not looking good right now.
Oh, man. All right, but
hey, well, how are you doing, Steven? How are the Phillies doing? I saw 3-2 in the. You said in the second, right? That's not good.
Yeah. 3-2. Braves are up. Looks like we're heading into the third now. But we're gonna talk some Phillies. We're gonna talk some Eagles. We're gonna talk some Sixers and Thunder. We're gonna have Jermaine Jones on. But before we get into that, obviously, gotta pay the bills here. So real quick, our poll question in our show tonight, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're at, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, looking to change a career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of XB Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 and visit him at alanfoy@xbrealty.com. And that poll question for you guys is whether you guys think Mr. Eflin tonight will have more than 6 strikeouts versus the Braves. It's already 3-2. I'm not sure what his line yet after the first two. Obviously, just hopping on here. We'll check it out. I want to get your opinion. I know you're not Zach's biggest fan over here, Mr. Burr.
I like Zach Eflin. I mean, I don't hate Zach Eflin.
I didn't say you hated him. I just said you weren't his biggest fan. The words hate never came out of my mouth.
I mean, that's not a fair statement either. Like, I root for him every time he's on the mound, and I'm like, yeah, like, he's a decent pitcher. Like, he's good, okay. Like, I mean, he's not one of our horses. We're not asking him to be one of our aces, right? So, okay, it's fine. I was just, saying, like,
well, George,
we should maybe change the poll question to 6 earned runs. Will he allow 6 earned runs tonight as opposed to 6 strikeouts? Andy, Andy would know. Mania's kicking off right now. He said it's clear skies there. Cameras can do beautiful things. Are you there, Andy? Wait, are you in? Are you in the stadium? Chrome did tell me that it's clearing up a little bit, but I don't know. I feel like the cameras are making it look a lot better than it probably is. Fellas, they're having a live Mania reaction show tonight too.
Obviously, I knew they were. I was sitting there saying when I was just on with Johnny on the Combat Sports Stop. Obviously, lots of stuff going on tonight. Obviously, we've had about 3-4 Combat Sports events in the last 24 hours. We got one of Philly's own's going to be headlining a Showtime pay-per-view. Is going to add another knockout to his repertoire, in my opinion. Obviously, we got the Phillies going on right now. We're gonna have Sixers live reactions. Obviously, Andy and the boys are gonna do some live reactions to Mania, and this is only night one, first night.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a 2-night event, and I mean, how about the weekend that it's Masters weekend? They got the Masters tomorrow, and all that's obviously going to be, or at least should be over, right? As they lead up into Mania. Like, it's a lot of things that they're competing with competitive weekend for, I guess good, sports all around. But hey,
well, I mean, everything's kind of getting back into the swing of things. So yeah, everyone's kind of competing against one another, having some
you
fun.
got the 3 TVs, you got your 2 laptops.
Yeah, exactly.
All of it.
And we got Harp up now, 1 out.
Okay.
Down
Good. He needs to
0-1,
get
top
going,
of third.
So.
Oh,
Yeah,
we already got him. We already
going,
got him
but
up
I need
70. Already got 76 pitches on this kid. So we're at top of the third. That's a good start.
I love the fact that Harper will give me a professional at bat every time he's up there. Like most of the time, they're going to give you. He's going to give you a professional at bat. But what's he got? Like 1 extra base hit so far. I don't even know if he's got that. I mean, dude needs to get going. Like.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like
we've been winning without
we're sitting
him.
There saying, that's what I'm sitting there saying. Like we've been doing pretty good despite the fact that he's been he hasn't been giving us the numbers that we're used to. But like, listen, even last night. Well, last night was only yeah. But he's also one of these guys. But he's also one of these guys. He still finds a way on the base in ways that can contribute, even when he's not hitting the ball.
He gives me a professional at bat, and he's never, he's always a guy that's usually a slow starter, I guess you could say, right? And he's, that's his MO is, and he'll get hot but find a rhythm and all that. But 1 extra base. But
Daly also brings up a point here. You know what I mean? Everyone's pitching around him at this point in time. They know how he starts.
Then he looks at a fastball down the middle on the first pitch, and you're like, well, dude, that's the only, fucking fastball you're going to see all game, too. It's like the best pitch you're going to see, the entire game in 4 or 5 at-bats, and he takes it because he wants to give you a professional at-bat.
And, nope, we got him. Hit one back up the middle, pitcher knocked it down. Thought he was about to beat it out, but pitcher still gets him out, so there are 2 outs now.
Yes, George said they're driving the track at Martinsville. I would still think that means they're not going to go green there until at least 9 o'clock. So.
Yeah, he said they're still driving the track at Martinsville. That's exactly what he said.
Yes. I saw his comment come up. That's why we're in the car. If the race was going, I'd be in the living room. I told the girlfriend, you're going to have to find a way. She works for a call center. It's so hilarious. I was like, listen, for an hour from 8 to 9. Find a way to take no calls, okay?
That's not the easiest thing to do, Yeah, just not take some. Just you can't work for an hour. I mean, it's rough. That's a rough ass, brother.
Do what you gotta do.
That's a rough ass. It is. Now, obviously, a lot other things are going on as well. Obviously, we're talking Phillies. Got obviously, you're gonna be bringing some NASCAR in. We're gonna be talking some Sixers basketball. Eagles did make some news this week. Linebacker signed, running back signed. Want to get your thoughts? Jordan Howard's back in the building, and no, I like the linebacker we just picked up from Minnesota. I think that kind of takes us out of the Micah Parsons running, which is obviously, I'm a Stater guy, so that I'm not happy about that. But I know they don't value the linebacker position like that as it was. Anyways, this is kind of one of the moves I expected them to make. Jordan Howard, there's no problem to have a hammer to go with your slasher. So,
yeah, Jordan Howard stinks though. Like. Jordan Howard fucking stinks. Like I don't that signing annoys me. Is Doug Peterson back in the building? I mean, what the fuck is that? Jordan Howard, like, come on.
It's a freaking roster spot for a freaking situational running back. What are you so mad about? It's a situational running back. What are you so freaking mad about?
He stinks, and he's part of the toxic culture that was here for how fucking long. Go sign me some rookie fucking free agent off of somebody's stupid practice squad, for God's sake. I don't give a fuck. Jordan Howard, come on.
Oh man. God. Do you have any other rants you need to get out? Obviously, you're not happy with Jordan Howard. Anything else you need to get off your chest, brother?
No, I'm not happy with the fact that we've been lied. Well, I mean, I would lie to. I mean, Howie Roseman is a fucking snake, right? And Jeffrey Lurie's a snake, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised that I'm being lied to by these people. But, it's a rebuild. It's a rebuild. What the hell does Jordan Howard have to do with any of this?
Obviously, I think it tells.
Why can't I go draft a running back? I got to sit here and deal with Jordan Howard. Where we signed Jordan Howard to be my third string running back? Why can't I just go draft somebody?
I think it listen.
Where's that when you need them?
It's gonna say to the guys on the roster, hey, we're not gonna go draft anybody to go to replace you. That this guy's either gonna make the team or is he not gonna make the team? And we already have to assume with the fact that Nick Sirianni's probably gonna use Jalen Hurts a little bit more in the running game as well. So you're really not gonna need to go draft one as it is, and just you have the guy on a one year rental, and whatever happens, man. I don't get why you're so upset by it. We've been lied to him for years. Why is this? Why is this going to be upsetting? I mean, come on.
It just seems like
can we be upset? Can we be upset in 2 weeks when he fumbles the draft again? Can we be upset then? No.
Well,
you got to get it right now.
I mean, when he fumbles the draft, I mean, like I don't even understand at this point. Like I'm just like at 12.
Ted's messing. Who's this guy outside?
I know. I'm the I told you I'm just a head, right? I
don't know. That's your new name.
Like a goat, by the way. Look, I'm a goat beard. The goat bearded head.
The forest.
No,
they're calling you your forest Zach.
But I didn't really have the expectations at 12. If Surtain's there, wonderful, jump on it. If I like Devontae Smith there if he's there. I just you know what I wanted. I wanted Kyle Pitts at number 6. I wanted Jamar Chase. I wanted somebody that I viewed as a playmaker, a legitimate day one playmaker for this team. I don't know if you get that now at 12. You might get a nice player. You get some good prospects. I just don't know. Like Parsons for me was the guy. If he fell to 12, boom, take him. And I still might. Like you say, he's out of the question now. I don't know. Is he? He might be the best player on the board.
I hope not. I hope not. Listen, I already said I'm a Penn State stain.
I'm with you. I like the kid from Minnesota.
This kid is like he's in that mode of that Paul Plosnowski, those type guys who are they're just.
Oh, stop it! He better be better than Paul Plosnowski. I mean,
in the mold. Did I say he was him? I said in the mold. In the mold. Relax, there, dude. Relax.
Relax.
I think we need to take Zach down to the bar or something. We need to unwind him a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I ran. Listen, I ran from a massive monsoon today. I was umpiring 11-year-old travel baseball, and we watched the rainstorm come over the treetops and crash down into the parking lot, and we all had to run for our lives and shit. It was scary, bro. I thought I was gonna die for a minute. I was never going to see you again. I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to educate the masses.
I'm going to miss you, Zach.
I feel like Damien Sandow. That's what I feel like every Saturday when I'm preaching. Well, I feel like you know Damien Sandow's wrestling character, Steven? Since WrestleMania is going on.
No,
go no. Guys, wait till you see some of the people in the comments that know the Damien Sandow reference. He used to come out and talk about educating the masses, and he'd go, silence! Tell people to be quiet and then educate the masses and be like, "You're welcome." At the end of it, I feel like that guy.
So he was like a what? Another version of William Regal or something.
Yeah, he was. I don't know. He was Triple H's little protege for a while. Triple H was working him up behind the scenes and really thought a lot of him. And I don't know. He's supposed to have a big deal and have a big push.
I guess that never happened, right?
It's.
Oh, I mean, I guess it would be remiss without saying, obviously, weekly roundup, a lot of things have happened this week, and I got to get your thoughts, man. And X past, he's had a lot of influence on, combat sports and sports in general. Is there an athlete you think of when you think of DMX? In the sports world, maybe in the Philly sports realm. Nope. Guess not.
I'm more worried about this guy that called me a ghoul in the dark and told me to turn on a light.
Listen, man, he's okay. Even if he is a ghoul, we know the Ghostbusters are all right.
You have a fucking crocodile? Is that what you're saying? Is your pet crocodile? Steven, where do we find these people? Are these like murder accounts? Do you have friends that are just like random comment on this? Like, what the hell are these people? He's got a crocodile.
What's wrong with that? Even if he does.
Yeah, I mean, NFC East Beast. So, okay, maybe that explains it. Okay, I'm with you. Are you a Florida man? Like, that seems like something that, it seems like something that, like Florida, we got the Gators down here, and that's got to be somewhere, right? Like, somewhere in Florida, the Carolinas, something like that.
Could be a Philly subplant in Florida. Could be a Philly subplant in Florida. But yeah, the linebacker thing, like I said, we could still see him. I hope. But at the end, at the end of it,
Steven,
like
here's what I want to
at the end of it, I'm absolutely fine if we don't touch linebacker in this draft, as long as we're addressing other needs that need to be taken care of on this team. If we get the D back at 12, Surtain, something like that, great. If we get one of the wide receivers, hopefully they fall down, great. We'll actually have somebody on the outside who can go make some plays and not want to play on the inside. The fact that we drafted
Smith or Waddle there.
Well, I wouldn't have a problem with Waddle. I wouldn't have a problem with Waddle.
Now, if both Smith and Waddle are there,
no, because I don't have a feeling Smith's going to be there. That's why I'm saying Waddle. I really don't.
Be there?
I don't.
So you're saying you think?
I think he's going to go like
the
yeah, I think he's going to be going with the handful of picks right before us, with like 2 or 3 picks before us. Within there, I think he's going to go.
Okay. So you're saying like Parsons, Waddle, J.C. Horn are all on the board together?
I mean, I'm really hoping Surtain falls there. I really do. But if that works out that way,
listen, if Surtain falls there, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Listen,
if Surtain falls,
I've been sitting there saying, like, I want the DB, but also if we get the wide receiver there, and then we go get Asante Samuel Jr. in the second, or move up to make sure we get him, I'm good with that too.
Watch, I'm telling you what we're going to do, because it's such a Howie Roseman thing. He's going to take that offensive lineman. He's going to take that offensive lineman. Not Sewell, not
Well, you don't. Well, you got to think. You don't need a tackle. 5. You don't need a tackle because you have to assume at this point Jordan Mailata just. You don't. You have to assume the tackle's off the board. Tackle's off the board. You know that. So
Sewell's off the board. But there's a guy that's got two last names. It's like a hyphenated last name or something. That's like apparently working his way up draft boards. And it's such a Howie Roseman fucking nerd move to go and take the offensive lineman that's like, moving up draft boards here late. They're like, just like, we're gonna take a safe pick, and it's like the lineman, and Howie loves that type of shit to build like interior lines on both sides, offensive and defensive lines. It's just oh my god, it's going to drive us all fucking so insane. We're going to be having that conversation again this year that we had last year, when we just are losing our minds over the fact that we feel like he blew another draft pick.
Well, I mean,
it's going to be somebody. It's going to be somebody that we're not talking about. Like all the names we're talking about, watch it be somebody that we haven't mentioned.
I mean, we can only sit here and hope and pray. Listen, it literally, I have to tell you, his job depends on this draft. If he doesn't, these guys, 1 through 3, 4, whatever, they're gonna have to produce and play. It's just where you are at cap wise, everything else. Like they have to. You can't miss. You cannot miss on.
You need to hit. I just don't think his job's. I don't think his job depends on it. I think his job is so safe, Steven.
Well, maybe his livelihood in Philadelphia depends on it.
Well, that might be the case. We might run him out of here.
And he got your name dropped for you here.
There you go. Vera Tucker. See? Yeah. See, I wasn't crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, watch. That's a total Howie Roseman move. Couch Dave knew who I was talking about. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it, buddy.
But now, what are your thoughts on the news that just broke over the last few hours? You know, Timberwolves are engaged in negotiations with A-Rod to be purchased. Here's my initial thoughts on it. It doesn't change anything. A-Rod being the owner there isn't going to bring people there. People already know what Minnesota is. It's not a free agent destination. If you get drafted by their most players are trying to pull the Eli Manning when it comes to this. No one wants to go there. You know, you can polish that turd up all you want. As much as people in Minnesota may love basketball, it's just not a place that guys want to play basketball. I'm sorry, there's nothing for them there. That's the other conundrum that you're in. There's nothing there. Go ahead, brother.
Where did Alex Rodriguez begin his baseball career?
In a small market, Seattle. Well, it was considered small market then, wasn't it?
Right. So
it's kind of changed. It's kind of changed over the last 20 years, hasn't it?
Forget about small market, but there used to be a very popular NBA team that played there for a long time in the Seattle Supersonics. And I remember reading a couple years ago a rumor of Kevin Garnett trying to get in on ownership with Minnesota, with the idea being that he would then move the team to Seattle. And I think it's very likely that whoever buys Minnesota, it's likely that they're moving because, as you said, they can't draw. Like, the team sucks. They don't really draw fan-wise. Free agents, it's not really a market that you look at as the NBA and you go.
Well, not only that, here's the other side of that, and I love that you're going with this with it. But if you want to keep your superstar, Karl-Anthony Towns, if you want to keep him there, guess what? Move him. Because if not, he ain't staying.
You know, Seattle all the way around.
Whoa, what did we just? We just missed something here. We just had the freaking Braves catcher face down in the dirt. Wait, what did I miss? All right, well, yeah, foul ball.
All I know is
foul ball off the instep and then right off the inner thigh.
Who? What player?
Well, the catcher, McCain. It's McCain.
Oh, McCain. Oh, wait, that's not the catcher no more.
Is it? It was 16, wasn't it? Or
Ryan McCann's like 45.
So? I thought he was still playing.
No, I think he retired like last year or so.
All right. No, actually, yeah, I think you're right. I think it was within another year or two. He probably retired, yeah. But, I don't got the numbers on.
I'll tell you what. There's a reason why with that NBA thing, you know, all I could think of with the Alex Rodriguez thing is what you're talking about, because he has no ties to Minnesota at all. There's got to be something going on there, and he's got the buddy of his that's his billionaire, right? Like, what is Seattle known for? It's all these billionaire tech, you know, like it's such a more popular market for the NBA to have a team there, and also for somebody like Alex Rodriguez and a billionaire financial partner of his to go have success in what is really an international market, and that can help you from an NBA perspective, right? Like that Seattle in general, you know, when you talk about, you know, how like diverse it is, you know, being out there on the West Coast. I mean, you got the heavy Asian influence and stuff out there. The NBA is huge, obviously, over in Asia and all those different countries over there. It could work in a lot better ways than it does in Minnesota. I think the NBA is desperate to get a team back there too. There's part of the reason why they had it set up with Oklahoma City the way it did. Whereas if a team ever moved back to Seattle would get their rights back and yada yada. Like,
now, what are your thoughts on Dave?
Like plan for this to happen.
And what are your thoughts on Dave with this one? He'd be okay with the Vera Tucker if they move back to 15 and get another. There's a Howie. He's thinking in the Howie Roseman brain right here. This is a Howie.
Yeah, I mean that could happen too, sure. And I might be most. I mean, I'm never going to be mad at another first pick next year. because that gives you 4, and you can guarantee yourself the top pick in the draft if you want it. Like, if the more first-round picks you get next year, the better chance you have to get the top pick and whatever pick of any player that you possibly want, right? Is like you
So,
can't
like,
beat.
yeah,
So I'm okay with that.
I'm
idea
with that too, especially if this
But what if he
season ends up
reaches and
being a
takes Vera
disaster.
Tucker at
You know what I mean?
12? Right. But what if he reaches and takes Vera Tucker at 12? That's a Howie move. The reach again and take a guy that nobody was talking about. Like, really, this guy? Like, come on, man. You could have traded back to 18 and gotten this guy. And, let's take him at 12 and piss everybody off, and just be one of those things. Typical Philadelphia Howie Roseman move. But I want to go best player available, Steve. I really don't care who it is at this point. I don't have any. I'm not going to make a wish list. I did that at 6, right? I told you who I wanted. Kyle Pitts was at the top of it. I'm not doing that now at 12. I just want best player available. Whoever the fuck you think that is at the time when the guy's on the board, take best player available. And maybe that's why we could very well end up with Vera Tucker. Maybe Howie thinks he's the best player available. He likes him better than any of the receivers. If all the receivers are gone and all you got left at 12 is Waddle, and you don't like J.C. Horn there because that's a reach. Although if we're going to reach, I'd rather go J.C. Horn at 12 than Vera Tucker. I'll tell you that much. I don't think J.C. Horn's that much of a reach at 12. I really like that kid.
In the first inning in tonight's Phillies game, 7 hits, 5 runs combined. Since then, 19 consecutive retired hitters between both pitching staffs.
We talk about pedigrees around here, and who's J.C. Horn's dad? Joe Horn, right? A former Saints receiver. So, yeah, you got a guy that immediately steps in and understands how the NFL works, and got it proven he can play, and it just, I don't, 12 might be a little high for him. I don't give a fuck, if he's your best player available at 12, go for it. I like the idea of him on the other side of Slay, the same way I like the idea of Surtain on the other side of it. But if Surtain's gone, okay, that is what it is. So, I just want best player available. I'm not going to overthink it at that point.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that one, Bryce. Being a Mets fan, I'm sure you're used to it. Just like most Philly fans are used to the ups and downs of it, brother. We just both got done beating on each other the last pace during the week as it was anyways, and that was filthy. Got him in on the hands. It was inside, and he still swung on it. B. Wilson in the house.
What's up, Wills?
What do you like? What are you asking Wilson?
Wilson's thoughts on 12. Yeah, on 12.
On what? On the poll?
12, go best player available.
Oh yeah, you must talk Eagles house. Let's get it.
What are you doing at 12? So now I want to hear your thoughts on what you're doing at 12.
Haven't we all, Bryce? Haven't we all? Evan's cruising 43 pitches, bottom of the 4th.
There you go. That ain't bad. You need him to go deep in a game. Even if he gives up 4 or 5 runs, you need him to go deep in a game here for you.
Yeah, but like when you think you're in the 4th inning and you're sitting at 44 pitches, as you're going midway through this really first batter here. Like I said, we're just about the end of this first batter here. You got 44 pitches. That ain't bad.
We had to keep 68 pitches today in 2 1/3 innings.
Just gave up a single. A little Dyer out the left.
There we go. Who's up? Who's batting?
The Braves are. That's what I was saying.
Well, you gotta. Oh, okay. Well, I see. That wasn't clarified.
I just said that. Said F was pitching.
I didn't. I heard you say he was dealing. I didn't know. I said he had 44 pitches.
But it's also
with the 45th.
Oh, I got you. There we go. Next batter.
I thought you were just giving stat lines. I didn't know what the hell the deal was. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the play-by-play. The 3-2.
Yeah. 0-1 now. Failed off the first one.
Nick Wills left.
Then he just popped it. Yeah, he just popped in to say what's up. What's up, Wills? Next time, show her some more love next time, brother. That should be 2. 1, 2. There we go. There's efficient.
There you go.
47, 2 out. Big bro Bryce in the house. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hold on. I gotta look something up real quick. You're still gonna be able to hear me. I think my camera's just gonna go off. Yeah. All right. So Dave says Horn and Soul Slater. Yeah, Soul and Slater aren't gonna be there at 12.
See, I don't see they move back again. I mean, it's kind of the what people kind of see what he might be doing. I just don't see him doing it again. What do you think? You think they that? What are the chances you say he moves back?
I think there's a chance that he moves back. Howie loves collecting those
quickly.
assets.
And then Eflin quickly goes down 2-0 to this guy.
Let's see. Do we still have any update on when the race is going to start? The stupid Sirius radio says that the green flag is coming up. Like, what type of give me nothing. Kind of nonsense.
He's picking at the corners. Now he's down 3-1.
We need George to tell us. George, we need George to help. If he's watching this coverage on TV, he can tell us when it was supposed to. When it's supposed to go live here. Were you able to see me that whole time?
Yeah, I think so. I was looking back up and down, so I think you were pretty good.
If Chase is somehow there's no way Chase isn't going to be there at 12. Of course, if he's there at 12, we should pull the trigger on him. If Chase is there at 12 and Howie doesn't pull the trigger on him, you should see. Like, you thought the riots last summer were bad. You should see some of the riots that might go on in Philadelphia if that happens. If you pass on Mark Chase as well.
Oh man!
I didn't know if I should go there, Steven. You saw me hesitate, and then I said, "Fuck it, let's go for it."
Hey man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no brainer. Chase at 12 would be, he's got a feral marijuana test.
David Bryce is on the same boat there. Like, he's going to be gone there. He's not going to be there.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even be talking about him. That's where it's at, and I agree with that.
There. And I'm with you. Smith could be gone, but I think there's also a chance Smith could be there at 12. How often do true receivers go in the top 10? Like, that's
not often.
I bet you go find me, there might be a couple drafts where that's happened in the past 50 years. There's probably only a handful, right?
But as we get into this next segment here, real quick, when I get another sponsor, and then this next segment is brought to you by Body Check Wellness, and they are a line of products that promotes wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extract, blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for 20% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. And like I told you, peeps, anyone who wants to hop in on my giveaway, make sure you're subscribed here to A2D. Make sure you subscribe over to the Nasty Knuckles podcast, and just like I said, use promo code down there. You spend at least $25. We'll enter you in the giveaway. We're gonna be giving multiple things away this month. Make sure you're showing not only us but the guys over at Body Check some love. But buy some stuff to help yourself, T-shirt, whatever. Have some fun, people.
I love
Bryce wants Smith. or Horn?
I'm cool with either one. I told you, best player available. So Smith or Horn. You can't have both. Give me one. Who are you getting, Bryce? Which one?
I mean,
you
I'm
gotta take
cool
one
with
of the
Horn.
two.
I'm cool with
Gun to
Horn.
your
Like
head.
you said. Like you said, man. The pedigree always says it all. And this draft is full of it. So Patrick Surtain's son, Asante Samuel's son.
Oh, I love the idea of like the defense. You got like those two, like you got one really good corner, and Slay looks even better with another good corner on the other side of him. I don't know. I'm really digging the idea of a defensive back there. And I'm digging the idea of Parsons. If Parsons there, I don't care that I like the kid from Minnesota, but if Parsons there, that's my pick. I just don't know if he'll be there. I feel like he's the guy for me that's probably going a few picks ahead of us, 9, 10, 11, something like that. Like I feel like he's the guy we're going to be like, oh, damn, we could have had, and we miss out on him.
I'm with you there, too. We have the cap, but we have 11 picks this draft. It's not like it's crazy for us to kind of even move back up. All right, we traded from 6 to 12. Who's to say we could trade back up to 8? You know what I mean?
If we go Smith at 12 and then we find a way to go like Asante Samuel Jr. or something, like I love those as my first 2 picks. Like I'm like I would love the idea. You could possibly get back up into the late first round too with all the draft capital that you have, right? Like you could possibly move back up into like up like the 26, 28, 30 range, something like that, right? Possibility that you could trade back up late into the
first round. Is there a
defensive
end that's gonna that is gonna make a big impact on our team there, Bryce? Because I don't.
I'm not taking defense. Yeah, I'd rather.
You want Horn because Smith will be going. I'm with you there.
Smith's gone. Yeah. Well then, yeah. I'm cool with Horn. I'm cool with Horn over Waddle at 12.
See, and there's back to Jason Owen again.
At 12. Smith top 10 going.
Yeah, if the Phillies are gonna get it on this guy, it's gonna be these next 2 innings. He's at 78 pitches, or he's already got 2 outs. He's got no base runners again. You got Kutch coming up, so even if he gets out here, you have the top of the 6th with the top of the lineup coming up. So if you work it out between the 6th and 8th innings, even if you go things the way they're still going right now, you should get the bulk of your lineup coming up. So it's these next few innings, if the Phillies are going to make a chance to win it and get some run-ins on the starter, it'll probably be these next few innings because, like I said, he's at 79. He's about to hit 80 pitches right now in the top of the 5th. Oh, and that is a tie ball game. Kutch just hit a home run.
Nice. There we go. You guys.
Like I said, that was the time. That was the time. So.
I'm still stuck on the Jason Owa pick. You guys and your prospects from pedophile state. I mean, Jesus Christ. Just because somebody like is a local kid that goes to PSU doesn't mean we gotta be all up his ass about everything. Oh, he's a freaky athlete. Javon Curse. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, oh my God. I mean, that's a total Howie move. Let me go reach on a fucking freaky athlete at 12. That actually sounds more like something the Raiders used to do with Al Davis. Howie doesn't reach on the freaky athletes. Howie's not a freaky athlete guy. Howie's a nerd. Right? He's not this freaky athlete. That's not Howie. He doesn't reach on the freaky athlete. He's going to overthink things and take the offensive lineman with the 2 last names because, as Dave said, we love dudes with hyphens in their names for whatever reason. We just do. Fucking crazy.
Whiteside. We will never live down JJ Ortega-Whiteside ever. I'm just sorry.
We're going to take Jalen Waddle just because we got another Jalen.
I know, right? As I was just sitting there saying that now's the time they're gonna. Yeah, he's starting to get up in there in that pitch can. Now's the time to start taking advantage of him missing. I got Reese out of there. That's the middle of the 5th now. So, but Acuna's up at the end of the order for the top of the 5th or middle of the 5th, or the bottom of the 5th rather. Same top.
He's a stud. Yeah, that's what we need. When's the last time we had a kid like that come through our fucking system? Good Lord.
Here we're
How
gonna
many
go.
undersized white kids have
We're gonna
come through
get
the
Zach
Phillies
started
system?
again against how bad the Phillies farm system is.
Christ. I'm just saying. I mean, how many Mickey Moniacs have come through our system in the past 20 years that just absolutely fucking stink? And we can't go like we can't sign international talent like from anywhere like to save our ass. Like we can't
I know
do
it's
it.
bad.
Like,
It's
we
bad. All these
suck
other
at it. Like
all these other teams find these guys, man. They're gems. They'll the Phillies for the life of them. You can't find one of them. You can't find
we can't find
the next
yeah,
Machado
we,
of the world
we
or
can't
anything like
recruit the
that. You know what I mean?
Dominican Republic and, in Puerto Rico and all those places the way all these other organizations do, like, and miss out on all this prime talent. Like, are you kidding me right now?
Listen, it's crazy to think, as much as baseball's evolved over the last like 15, 20 years, and we're still sitting here talking about the Phillies haven't developed a Central American talent within their system, and just about every other organization has.
Talent of any kind. Let's not even label it any more than that. They haven't developed an international talent of any kind since
Ever.
the fucking 70s? Since the 70s?
Probably, yeah. What was
I
it,
was
Manny?
thinking the last time they developed a legitimate. I mean, Carlos Ruiz was an accident. I mean, he was like signed as a third baseman, and then didn't become a catcher till late to save his career, and ends up making his debut with us at like 27, right? Like, I don't really know if that counts, although love Church and always will, right? Like one of the greatest Phillies ever, be on the Wall of Fame one day soon enough, right? Live in our hearts forever. But I don't know if I'll necessarily count. Like, he wasn't a stud. Like, we didn't consider him a stud prospect. I'm talking about like somebody that's, you're like, oh, look at this kid, 18, 19, 20, and you're like super excited to see
right,
that kid
Tom?
get to the big league level.
Kutch coming in with the clutch bomb right there, tying the ball game up. Now all we gotta do is let Zach keep doing what he's doing, get mowing these guys down, and we got the top the top of our lineup coming up back up the meat potatoes of it all coming back up top of the inning. Like it should be Harper and Ramuto and the guys.
That'd be a good time for Harper to come up and do something.
Didi bobbled that one, man. That should be a nonsense base runner. What happened there? Did you just get up on him? Yeah. Shortstop job is one of the hardest ones in baseball, man.
I saw a good shortstop today in the travel ball I was working. Only one though. Like literally, I had 5 games and there was only one good shortstop. The rest of them fucking sucked. And you feel bad saying that because it's like 11 U ball, but you're like, God damn, like shortstop's supposed to be the best player on the field. Holy hell.
Who's slipping, George? Didi?
You couldn't even spell it correctly. What's sliping?
He's saying slipping. Leave him alone.
I thought he said slooping for a moment when I first read it. He's slooping. I was like, who's
What's
slooping?
up, Evan? They got the bunt down. The sacrifice.
Well, that's good old school baseball. There you go. Something you don't see every day now.
I don't know if he's slipping yet. I mean, he's 55 pitches. I don't know. Still early. I think that was, but Didi, he's here, man. Like I still the reason why he's there and scores over at second is what? Because he's the better option. You can say he's slipping, but I don't know.
I'm going to take this party inside, Steven. Give me 1 second. I take the party into the living room so we have a much better setup.
You're ready.
Jermaine gets Jermaine O'Neal.
What's the prediction for the Phillies this season, Evan? Oh man, listen, this is something we've been arguing about. Me and Zach have been arguing about. The guys have been arguing about. Acuna just pops up, so they just wasted his at bat. So 2 outs, and are they gonna get the tag? And did he get in? Looks like he's safe, and they got the advance. They got the runner on third now. So here we go. But what's our prediction for the Phillies? Listen, me and Zach have been arguing about this. We've been going over this. As what they've looked so far this season, I think Zach's gonna make me eat some crow, and they're gonna win more games than I thought they were.
I'm boldly on the record of saying 95 wins. So we'll see.
Yes. Zach was teetering on the verge of going to 100. But listen, if we take care of our divisional games and to win 2 out of 3 or sweep majority of the time, I don't see why they can't make a run. All right, so Dave coming in the clutch again right here with the Vegas odds are sitting there saying we're at 81 and a half wins is what Vegas has. So Zach, if you really feel that way, man, you should go drop a line on a bet on that one. If you feel that strongly about it, Vegas got it at 81.
Well, yeah, I thought the 81 number was ridiculous.
I say regardless, the Phillies are a playoff team. Divisional winner, wild card winner. That's up for I guess us the fans and everyone else to kind of debate and argue. But I mean, obviously, I would take the over on that one too. 81. That's a slap in the face of this team. That's a slap in the face. Listen, the problem with this team hasn't been hitting the last few years. It hasn't been. But we don't have problems putting runs on the board. I have problems keeping run off the board. Trying to have a problem to keep late leads. That's been the Phillies' problem. Sitting there saying that they would be at 81 wins. Absolutely, I'm with you, Dave. Take the over, and I'm right there. Like I'm probably just about 5-6 wins behind Zach there, like right the high 80s, early 90s. He has them at the mid 90s. So
I wanted to get a little bit if you're going to say something, like if you're going to make a prediction, like 90, 90, like 90, like that's like the easy number, right? Like I'm going 95 because I think there could be like a big deadline move. You know what I mean? I'm counting on Dombrowski to go out and actually maybe do something. Maybe Spencer Howard is the centerpiece in a big deadline move to bring in like another ace starting pitcher of sorts. And now you've got like a really legitimate starting pitching staff going into, the playoffs. Whoever the best starting pitcher is on the market, you're going to go out and try to get.
We'll see, man. I mean, I'm sure everyone here in the city would absolutely love that. I think
starter away.
I think everyone. I think everyone kind of feels like this team's okay offensively. They're just like you said, a bullpen arm, maybe another shored up, bona fide starter. You find a way to get you get Velasquez out of here somehow. I'm sure that's the guy everyone wants out of a Philadelphia uniform ASAP. Right? Since Carson Wentz is gone, he's public enemy number one. Or is it Ben Simmons? Is it still Ben Simmons?
I think Velasquez is just irrelevant at this point. We're just like this guy. There's people in this city that have a pimple on their ass that they give a fuck more about than Vince Velasquez. Like Vinny V. Like Vinny V's been living off the same 16 strikeout performance for 5 years. I still lived in New Jersey the last time Vinny V, had any type of upside or potential, and that was 4 years ago.
I say mistaken. It's not a Ramuto game, so it's
Andrew Knapp,
Harper, Baum, and Didi at the top of the inning.
There we go.
Molly Moore's back. What's up, my friend? What's up?
That's a solid lineup, and they've been playing. Like I think the ability to play JT at first base and things like that will come up too on times. Find ways to get Hoskins a day off every once in a while. You could keep Realmuto in the lineup by having him play first. I think that's something that he's athletic enough, and towards the tail end of that contract, obviously between DH and everything else, they're going to want to get him out from behind, the plate from catching, and one of the ways to do that is have him play first, right? It's a simple transition for catchers usually. So, I don't know, it seems to be one of those things like
I like the versatility that's there with him as a player too. Different ways to keep him in the lineup. Because Knapp's that left-handed hitting catcher, right? That you kind of, those guys can be valuable. When Knapp had to be the starter, oh my God, it was dreadful. When he's a guy that's catching once or twice a week, we get to call him Nappy and all of our little stupid Philly nicknames for players that stink, but we secretly love, and we get to all keep them close to our hearts the way we want, and the baseball team doesn't have to suffer because of it.
What's wrong with Nappy, man?
A nappy is a diaper in England. Okay, that's the problem with it. Okay, it's a nappy. Okay, we're calling the dude nappy. That's what he is. He's shit. He's absolutely dookie. Okay.
Oh, you're just brutal on our guys tonight, man. Come on. You're absolutely brutal on Nap today.
He's a decent backup catcher, but the dude was there was a time when we thought this guy's going to be our starting catcher.
And you got Georgie in here sitting there saying that it's still raining in Martinsville during the starting ceremony.
I know. It's they're not going to race tonight, bro. It's just not going to happen. They're better off running it tomorrow night after the Masters.
And Harp just missed a nice hack. He still, you're right, man. He still hasn't gotten his stroke yet. I mean, I think they are pitching around him, but he still hasn't found it yet.
I've seen him miss quite a few pitches. I watched him miss like a 2-0 fastball that was like belt high center cut the other day, and he fouled it back. He fouled it back, and you're just like, and you could even see him like take a little walk, like, damn, that's the best pitch I'm going to see to hit all game, and I just fouled it back into the seats. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could almost see he was mad at himself about it. Like, it's not there for him right now. Like, that's the pitch that he's smoking 450 feet, into the seats when everything is going right for him right now. So, I mean, it is what it is, whatever. You say if we can find ways to win with him struggling, that's good. But, I mean, we need him to be that guy. Like, if we're going to be that playoff team winning 95 games, making a deep run, he needs to be in the MVP conversation, right? I don't say he doesn't need to win the MVP, but he needs to be in the conversation. I need my man to be like,
come on. We are talking about it. There it is. Price bomb, baby.
Put some good mojo on him.
There you go. There you go, boys.
Attaboy. Break the tie. Big hit. That'll get him going.
First homer of the season. That's how you do it.
There we go. See?
4-3 Phils. 87 pitches, top of the 6. It's almost that time. I think they're gonna get him out of here. He's giving up two. He's getting up 2 home runs in his last 15 pitches. He's probably done.
And what, you got Bohm and Didi coming up, right?
Yeah. You got Bohm and Didi coming up. So yeah, and right outside is another bad pitch there. So yeah, I like the Phils, man. I like it. Bryce gets it going, gets the home run going. Now we got bomb up and oof. All right, I thought he was about to get a laser out the left. Got knocked down. So first out, 89 pitches, top of the 6, 4-3 Phils up over the Atlanta Braves. Bryce has knocked out the rust off the closet. Let's see if what normally happens to Bryce happens, where it's just going to start coming now. Yeah, and Evan was talking about like when he came in thinking 80, but now he's thinking 90. So he's right around where we are now. Yeah. So listen, my thing with the team is they have it there. Like, listen, I already felt that the shortened season, like everything that happened last year was just an odd season. Joe's already got a better idea of what this team is, what they are. You've seen it like basically with the offseason stuff. We retained the offensive guys. We made some little tweaks in that there in the pen. I like what we got in there. It's really up to what you're saying. We just get some consistency out of our starters and out of the bullpen, and this team's a playoff team, and it could give some teams a problem in the playoffs. Granted, we still have to get past Atlanta. We still have to take care of our division. We still have a lot of tough teams here in the NL before we start making any noise about anything deep or anything like that. But listen, this is a fun team to watch. It should be a fun team to watch over the summer and hopefully into October. And 95 wins. It doesn't seem crazy, does it? Not as crazy as it did at the beginning of the season, did it? Did you get kicked out again,
George,
brother?
I mean,
George
is kind of late to the party.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess she had. I don't like in 5 minutes. She gets off at 9 o'clock, and she has to accept the phone call.
Hey, man, and that's exactly where he hit it. That's exactly where he hit it. Right in that gallery out there, right in the right center, man. That's where Bryce always goes. It was like almost like the same thing with her for when we were here for Ryan's days, man. It was just as soon as he hit one, just starting to look at the right at the right center. Is it up there? Okay. And we got Didi coming up, and new pitcher Sean Newcomb is in the game. He's already pitched 2 games, 5.4 ERA, 1.2 innings pitched, 1 walk or 1K, 5 walks. We'll see how it goes with this. And that was a bad pitch to swing at for Didi.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I got to go back to the car for a little bit, Steven.
I was about to say, did you get kicked out again?
For at least the next 10 minutes or so, I guess. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. This is why Zach wants us back in the Oh man, Didi was a terrible strikeout. Pitch before that was in the dirt, and that one was even further outside of the zone. They just go right back to the home run. They don't even show you it. And fan almost caught it and dropped it. Or they're showing you the thing from last night. Yep, they're showing you the thing from last night. Where gave it to the Braves fan. The home run. Or that looks like the same family. Look at the same kids from last night. Oh no, yeah, that's what they are showing. Yep, there it is. And people say we're so mean in Philadelphia. What we're so mean in Philadelphia, but we're giving home run balls away to to other people. We must have missed something. Segura's on base, and now he's on second. That was quick. Uh-oh.
It's downpouring here again.
Uh-oh. Well, George is saying, drivers, start your engines.
They have 9:10 start time, so yes. Hold on, I should be able to possibly get back inside now. It's 9 o'clock. Jeez.
You got kicked out for 2 minutes.
I know. It's so ridiculous. I'm going to go sit up with my neighbor and do a live show up there. She's got a great personality.
Oh, man. Don't start that fight, man. I won't pick that fight if I were you. So, will not play tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers. Danny Green and Tobias Harris will not play tonight.
They won't play when?
Tonight. What'd you get? You frozen there for a second, brother.
Because we're back now, so I'm back on internet, so you're good.
Ah, gotcha now. Gotcha.
We're on the silent portion of it. Okay. We don't have to be silent. It's okay.
No, I do other things.
What'd you do now, Zach?
I didn't do anything. I never do anything. You know how that goes. We're men. We don't do nothing.
Oh boy, don't. Don't. But as we get ready to hop into the next portion of the weekly roundup, this next portion is brought to you by SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. Check out Dr. Paul Vidal at SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com LLC. He's our doc now. Make him your 2 locations in Cherry Hill and Burlington. Again, that's SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. And are you ready for some Sixers basketball, my friends? Because we're getting ready for tip-off here. I know the Phillies are still doing it. Obviously.
Are they doing it, Steven?
I don't know. We'll see. Tip-off will be going here in a second. How are they not doing it? They were down 3-2 most of the game, and now we're up 4-3. So how are they not doing it?
To them now, right?
They're giving
Pick
it to
your
them.
style.
Really, you're going to go there with it?
Whatever you fancy.
You're going to go there with it?
Perhaps.
Oh, I love you, brother. 20 games left for the Sixers. What do you say? What do you say, man?
Damn, I say the Lakers Nets game is on instead of the Sixers game, and I'm pissed.
You don't want to watch Bron play some ball.
No, I don't want to watch Bron and the Lake Show against James Harden, the most overrated player in the. Yeah, I've got a buddy. James Harden might be like I don't know. He just drives me crazy. Like this idea that like. I just think he's like one of the most overrated players in the league. He might be the most overrated player in the league. He travels every time he does that step back, and it's like a double step back. That's a travel. And it's just, and he's just, and then he whines. He's annoyed with the beard and all that. It's like, come on, I hate his beard, of course. My beard, but it's, it's just annoying.
They're already working this kid up.
That's all the media talk about is the Nets in Brooklyn, and because they've got the best team that 2015 can buy. If this was 2015, they'd have a hell of a squad. Let me tell you, but it's not 2015 anymore.
Oh, that was rough. That was rough, Roman Quinn. That was rough, man.
All anybody talks about for the NBA in the Eastern Conference is the Nets. Look how good the Nets are. Look at all these players. The Nets. No, everybody think the Nets are going to be so good. The Nets have a rookie head coach that was handpicked by the superstars on the team. You can't tell me the dynamic in that lot. It's just that's good. They're a mess, and I can't stand the fact that because it's Brooklyn and it's New York City that the media wants to make the Nets.
I still think it's funny what Dave said a minute ago. He'd love to see him race on rain on slicks. I don't know.
They're actually developing a rain tire for NASCAR now. They've actually got a rain tire they're developing. They think they're going to be able to use it later this year. So we could see that. If anybody that's out there that watches racing of any kind, we're not just talking NASCAR, whether the Indy 500. I mean, that's something that even if you watch one race a year, for a lot of people, that race is the Indy 500. Right? It's like it's been around forever, right? You remember as a kid how big of a deal it probably was, right? It's IndyCar and open wheel things like that. Formula One over in Europe, they've been able to race in the rain forever because they have a rain tire that they switch on to whenever it's raining, and then they have a different tire that they use, a slick as it's called, whenever it's not raining. NASCAR hasn't developed a rain tire for whatever reason. They probably had the ability to, they just haven't. But finally this year they're developing one, and they just said earlier tonight, I saw them talking about it, they said they think they can use it later this year. So it actually could be pretty cool. I mean, obviously, let them race in slicks. Well, that wouldn't be a race. You just that would be like somebody trying to go 100 miles an hour, on a motorcycle in the rain. Like it would just lead to
instant carnage. Like, it's like,
Oh,
you couldn't
George is going old school, the old dirt tracks.
No, they did a dirt. Well, no, George is talking about they did a dirt track. Last week at the dirt track at Bristol. They were off last week for Easter, but the week before, they did a dirt track. They put a ton of dirt down on Bristol Motor Speedway, and they raced in the dirt.
Like I said, we going old school with that, brother. People don't remember the early NASCAR days. That's how it was.
Well, yeah, the early NASCAR days, sure. That was what was they were advertising about the race 2 weeks ago. It was the first dirt track race in 50 years, and it was. It was the first dirt track race since the early 70s. For God's sakes. So, you're talking about but they liked it so much they said they're going to do more of it, and I think it's an intriguing enough idea where it brings people that you don't sit down and watch a NASCAR race usually, but you just might tune in to a race of that kind just because, okay, let's see how this goes. They're racing on dirt. It's different. It's something that
here's an important one for Eflin. He's got Freeman up, and Freeman's already homered today. He's 1-1. This is where he's at 65 pitches, bottom of 6. This is where he need if he gets through this.
How about George? You want to talk about old school? He just said Bridgeport Speedway, Airport Speedway. That's old school, George. You're right. You know what? My man is an old school race fan. But yes, Eflin, anytime you take a lead, you need to shut down inning, right? So he's got the lead now. His boys have gone out kind of the lead.
So Ted's got one for us. What do we think about the Sixers? Can we win the top seed? Hold on to it because first seed is the easiest road to the East Finals. 2 seed would have to play the Bucks in round 2. I agree that we will hold on to it, keep it, secure it. We will be the top seed in the East.
I want to match up with the Nets so bad in the playoffs.
I'm with you. If there's if there's one matchup that I think Sixers fans are looking for, we want the Nets. We want the Nets. We want this put together team of star. We want them. And if anyone that tells you any different to you, we want this. No, we don't want anyone else right now. We don't want the Celtics. We don't want Toronto. We don't want the Heat. We want the New Jersey Nets. We want all of that. We want that dish. We want the whole plate. We want you healthy. We want no excuses. The way it's just a culmination of just everything this team's been through. From process to the last few years that we're basically holding on to Brett Brown for whatever loyalty reasons we felt like we were holding on to him. And here we are. I think we have a distinct advantage when it comes to the playoffs. In coaching, I think in on the defensive side of the ball, and you got some veteran guys now on this team. I think that can help guys like Ben, like Joe, to Tobias. I still think when everything's said and done, I think that the Dwight Howard signing will probably be the underrated signing that we had situated, that we brought in here this year. I know a lot of people like the Curry one, but I still think when everything's said and done, we do secure it. I'm with you, man. I want the New Jersey Nets. I want them.
Yes. At this point, would you have pulled the trigger on a Zach LaVine trade if it involved Ben Simmons?
No. See, here we go. Everyone's trying to get in their feelings about Ben Simmons again, man. Why? I mean, why is he just this polarizing guy to that point? To that point.
Because people in this city.
That was a nice play by Sakura.
This fan base can't accept players for what they are. They always need more. Jesus Christ! I'm being kicked out for another 7 minutes.
I told you we gotta get you a studio, bro.
I'm going to go off camera for a minute so I can do certain special things to make me feel better.
Nasty Nizzle said Quinn is so trash at this point in time. Just needs to lay down a punt at every at bat. That was still a bad call. Like listen, I admit to you, hit that bat has damn near disappeared. So I will absolutely give you that fact, but that was rough. That was absolutely rough. That way outside, it was a bad pitch, and then we just have a pass ball here, getting freaking Braves in scoring position. Here we go. All right. So what is Ted saying? All right, Nets lose tonight. We win. Take back number one. Nets are stacked. Another scary. Another destroying teams. I'm not scared of the Nets. You know, when it comes down to a 7-game playoffs, like, listen, the way Joel Embiid's playing, everyone's getting upset about Ben Simmons. Like, listen, I get it. He's not playing well right now. He's not scoring. He's not doing what he needs to do. I get it. At the end of the day, listen, Ben is going to be doing what Ben does. All right, we got Zach back. He's getting kicked out for doing this, that, and the third. Wifey's throwing him around the house. Yeah, that's what you said. Back to the forest. You get kicked out again.
I do what my wife says. Back to the forest. She's working in a call center from the living room. Yeah, so anytime there's a call, I have to run for cover.
Yeah, I get you. So, and he was Ben is better than Zach LaVine. If you trade Ben, you get Harden. No,
I didn't want because Harden's the most overrated superstar in NBA history. So I don't want
tie ball game. There you go.
So much for that shutdown inning.
Yeah, man. As well. Hey, listen, that pass ball set that up, man. So yeah. I guess when we go back at it, Eflin was starting to lose it a little bit, but you got at this point in time, you get time to get him out of there. Regardless if you let him finish this half inning or not, whatever, this is probably his last time up there. But 4-4, here we go. Baseball is here. Yeah, back-to-back games is big. It's something we're going to start seeing more coming down the stretch. Nasty. Anyone who thinks that we're not going to start seeing more of Joe playing in your back-to-backs is got something mistaken. Because I don't see how you're not going to see more and more of Joe as we come down the stretch. Obviously, game's just kicking off here. You know, real early. I think it's switching over here. It's 8-6. So, yeah. A foul by Thibault. That's quick. Just turn it on. Foul.
Apparently, I'm in punishment for another 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes. As George said, still riding around the tracks.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate anymore, but okay.
If he gets, I'm sure he wouldn't mind that.
I would. You know what I need? I need to move to I'm in the downstairs apartment, and I need to move to an upstairs apartment because it comes with a balcony. And if I had my own balcony, dude, I would have I'd be balcony boy or something.
3x4 can right there. It's a nice 3x4 can right there. Right? Guys moving the ball around. So 11-8 now. 8 minutes left to go in the first. And that was an ugly bucket to allow in. I don't even know what happened there. Misses it and then wait, what was that? No. More fouls already. More fails. But 10-11, we'll get another 4 can miss for 3. But let's get this one kicked off here, guys. Our first guest is here, or our guest for this afternoon. Without any further ado, my good friend, Mr. Jermaine Jones is here. Jermaine, how are we doing this afternoon, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you?
We're doing fine, man. Just doing a little live react for the Sixers and the Phillies right now. Going to talk a little bit more basketball with you. I know you had some camps today, did you not?
Oh no, it wasn't today. No, I didn't have any camp. I didn't have any camps today.
I thought it was today. It's coming up in the next coming weeks, is it not?
Yes, it's Sunday. Not tomorrow Sunday, but next week Sunday.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
So are you down there in Georgia?
Yeah. Well, I'm in Florida actually right now, but I'll be heading back there tomorrow to Atlanta. I actually had a celebrity golf tournament down in Florida that I came to this morning, and it was actually my first time on the green, so I feel pretty good about what I did today.
So it was your first time golfing today?
I've been on the golf course
just that particular one. Okay.
Just being on the cart, but I didn't actually never play. So today I felt good about me actually getting out and participating. So I think I'm Tiger Woods now.
Were there spectators there? Were like how many people were allowed?
It was quite a few. It was quite a few people there.
Where was I live down here in Florida. This is why I'm asking. I wish I knew where this was at.
It was in Rockledge, Florida.
Rockledge.
Yeah, Rockledge, Florida.
See, I was hoping it was in like Orlando or someplace like that where possibly I could check it out.
Rockledge is like 45 minutes south of Daytona Beach off of 95.
Oh, well then I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, and I'm born and raised in Cocoa, Florida, so Rockledge.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, actually, I was born in Rockledge, actually, because the hospital is in Rockledge, but I was raised in Cocoa, Florida.
I've got family that lives in Cocoa, Florida, so see, this is wonderful. What this conversation.
I tell you, man, some people don't realize how small the world is sometimes.
It is.
Well, not only that, like, dude, like the other day, like my daughter's like, they're like hanging out with her friend, right? And then I find out like one of my friends who like passed away when I was younger, his younger sister is dating the guy's boyfriend who they were hanging out with. So she's like, Dad, I was hanging out. I'm like, yeah, I know, I heard.
Wow.
So like it's like literally when people tell you how small things are, like we're so connected with things, us as humans being in general, we just don't realize it sometimes, or just too ignorant to realize it at times, or too much involved in our own things. It's just it's crazy sometimes, or just the little stuff.
The world is definitely small.
Now I definitely want to ask you something. Obviously, you're a basketball guy. Former number one selection. You played here in Philadelphia. You were on that 2001 Sixer team. There was a little report that came out recently about the worst MVPs of the last 20 years, and somehow Allen Iverson's name wound up on that list from that team. And I got some problems. Like, listen, I know I'm a homer when it comes to Philadelphia's things, but that team was different on so many levels. And like that season is revered from what Allen did on so many different levels. Regardless of who decided that was a good idea to do that, I don't know, but I mean there's some guys who gotten MVPs during that time, and I'm like, there's other guys who probably should have won it who are on that list, and we're like, wait. We're gonna let that one go, but we're just gonna sit there and say Allen had the worst one. It was one of those things that bothered me. You're a guy that played on the team, so I got to get your unique perspective. What do you think? Is that a little bit of a stretch or a little clickbait from them?
Hey man, let me just say this to you, man. It wasn't too long ago where I was reading something where they was talking about the worst finals teams in NBA history, and our team was on there. and I just couldn't understand, like, could y'all please let me know what the,
criteria. I want to know what the criteria is here.
Just let me know what team is about. First of all, if y'all saying the worst team, I mean, I'm trying to understand what does team mean, because I mean, we beat that year. We beat Reggie Miller, who's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer.
He should already. That's the sin. He's not in the Hall of Fame too. At
You know
this
what I'm
moment.
saying? Probably
At
gonna
this
be
moment.
a Hall of Famer.
Reggie, I thought Reggie was in the Hall of Fame.
They get him in yet?
I think Reggie's in the Hall.
Either way, he should. If he is, I mean, he's one of the best shooters that ever played in the game before.
Absolutely.
We had to beat him. Then we had to go see Vince Carter, who at the time was probably one of the prime players at his time, who people was comparing to Michael Jordan at the time. And
that was prime Vince, too. That was prime VC. That wasn't broken down Vince. That was peak Vince.
And then we had to go see 3 20-point scorers in Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and Glenn Robinson. And like, I'm just trying to understand with those 3 teams where we seen like Hall of Famers that we had to go through. Why are we the worst team? I don't understand how could we be the worst team, and then for you to actually sit here and talk about Allen Iverson being the worst MVP. Are you kidding me?
Ted brought it up right here. Ted brought it up right here. It's right there at the bottom.
Well,
Westbrook, Dirk.
Jermaine, how about on that Sixers team? We're talking about Allen was the MVP, but people forget that Aaron McKee was a 6th man on that team, the 6th man of the year award winner on that team, right? You had Dikembe Mutombo, the great defensive presence.
We brought home all the hardware.
Yeah, absolutely.
Larry Brown was coach of the year. Aaron McKee was 6th man. Dikembe was defensive player of the year. You know what I mean? Allen Iverson was MVP. What else do we need to bring when you talk about team? And then the things that Allen Iverson did, everybody knew like what was going on the summer prior, about the trade talks and all of that, trying to get rid of Allen Iverson. And then for him to come in and show up like he showed up that year and take us to the finals, please tell me and make me understand why would he be the worst MVP? To me, that makes him one of the better MVPs, because I guarantee you that a lot of the MVPs that went through the NBA couldn't go through the things that he had to face
that
being
year.
Traded.
And the beatings he was taking on the floor that year. People tend to forget. People tend to forget how reckless he played that year. He played like a wild man that year. Like he was throwing his body around like there was no tomorrow. That's what made that season so special. He gave you everything he had, body and soul. He gave you everything.
Everything he had in him, he gave.
Did it feel like magic playing with him? Like when you I feel like at times, as a kid watching him, it really did feel like you could just feel the electricity like that he brought, every single night if you were there watching him in person. Did it feel that way on the floor playing with him?
It was hard, man. It was hard playing alongside him, man, because the things that he was doing on the court, man, even as a player that worked hard to be able to get to the NBA, man, it was hard just to sit there and watch the things that he was actually doing on the basketball court and not get caught up in the moment yourself as a fan. And as a basketball player, you sitting there watching him like, man, this guy is unbelievable. And then you forget, like, man, you're in the NBA too, so you can't really get caught watching this guy. And you got caught watching Allen Iverson play, even as a player.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was a fan of Allen before he got here. I was so religious with college basketball, and that those Georgetown teams were amazing, and like he always had something special to bring. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about some of this current stuff. Like some of the people were asking some Sixers things going on. What are your thoughts about this team? Like, obviously, a lot of people feel the Eastern Conference Finals is the destination for this team. This is a potential NBA Finals team. What are your thoughts as a basketball man outside looking in? They put Joe's on a great run this year. They have some good pieces. They got the coaching in place. Is this team ready to make a run?
I tell you this, man. When it's funny, man, how things worked out because when the Clippers first fired Doc Rivers, first thing was in my mind, the Sixers need to go after him. That the first thing came to my mind. I was like, if the Sixers get Doc Rivers, they're going to the finals. That was the first thing came to my mind. And they was like, well, why do you say that? You don't like Brett? I was like, I say it's not the fact that I don't like him. Great guy, one of the best guys you can ever meet. I just didn't feel like he can get the most out of those guys that was there. I didn't think that he can get the most out of Embiid. I didn't think he could get the most out of Simmons. I just felt like Doc demanded more, from those kind of players. I think that he gave these guys discipline, and I just felt like when it came to Joel Embiid, he would be the coach, be like, look here, Joel, you took 2 threes. All right, let's get your ass back down on the block.
Right on the button. I'm with you there because Joe would over the last few years taking a little overboard, but I think also because he just takes it a lot onto himself because he's just one of those guys on the team. Like, all right, if we're slacking here, I'll just step back and I'll do it.
Right.
I think what not just what Doc had brought, but also having a guy like Dwight Howard in the building with him too to kind of rein him in. Like, listen, you can't do everything all the time. You have all stars on your team. You have guys that can take care of this. You don't have to do everything, and I think that helps Joe a lot from the intangible thing. And I just think he's having a great year, and I'm really looking forward to see what happens over the next 20 games and over the next month and a half.
I still think they can beat the Nets.
That's who I want. We had Ted in here. He's a little scared of the Nets. Like, listen, if I'm one of these fans, I don't want no one but the best. The Nets are the best ones. I want them all. I want them there. I want them healthy. I don't want no excuses, no nothing. Give me that full plate, sir. All of it.
I honestly feel they could still beat the Nets, man. And I'm gonna say this only this year though. Only this year I feel like they can beat the Nets because the way.
I'm with you. I think if they get an off season to put that whole thing together, be healthy, be able to work together, gel together, that's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm sitting there saying. Like, just give it to me now. I'll take it now. We can go have our parade down Broad Street, and then the
beat them this year.
Sure. You're gonna have to do it. I
guess
guess
there's a guy like James Harden, like he obviously super talented, right? But like it seems like in Houston, no matter what, no matter who they paired him with, no matter how many superstars he played with, he could never find a way over that hump. Do you feel like that's just kind of something that's an unfair, thing that follows him around, and that it just, it'll happen at some point, or does he actually have some type of toxicity to him that brings a team down in some way?
No, you know what, man? I don't think it has anything to do with the team. I think it has everything to do with his individual play. If you notice, like even with OKC that year, if he would have just averaged 10 points, they would have won the championship in the playoffs. If he'd have just averaged 10, like I was thinking, like maybe they need to drug test the guy that year when he was with OKC. To be honest, I'm like he's been playing so well all year, and then the playoffs came, and it's like he wet the bed. You know what I mean? And then look at the other thing when he was with Houston. Everybody was expecting so much out of Houston, and then it's like I think the year they played San Antonio, I think it was, and people was like how he looked. Like I think just like he has so much pressure on him. I just think that playoff time when it comes up for him to show up big, it's I don't know, man. I mean, he just has that
sometimes
right now individually. When it comes playoff time, he wet the bed.
It goes back to a saying that Burt Watson used to say for me, UFC coordinator. Sometimes when the lights go on, the lights go out for some guys, and sometimes when the lights go on, that's when they turn it on. I think it's one of those cases, man. Sometimes like when all the world's attention on him, like that, just maybe there's just something in between his ears that he just thinks too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's some guys
they do too much in general.
Yeah,
You know.
but I also think when he gets on those stages is what happens. Like he kind of tries to do that thing where he's just trying to do too much, and it just eventually hurts his game, his team.
Man, I'm just saying. I just think it's just an individual thing with him. You know, hopefully with him having, you know, all the talent that he has around him, hopefully, you know, he don't have to be faced with a whole lot. So, I know. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But for me,
Absolutely.
with his track record, I mean, I still think Sixers can win.
I would, yeah, that's I would
I'm
love
with
to
you
be
too.
the team that knocks him out. Like, oh, like as me and Steven were talking about it right before you came on. It drives me crazy that all you're hearing on ESPN and all these stupid media outlets, the national media outlets, is Brooklyn and the Nets this and the Nets that, and look how good the Nets are and all that, and look what the Nets did. And I would just love to knock their ass out in the playoffs. Just take it to them.
And you know what? You know one other thing that people forget. They have a rookie coach.
Yeah.
Steve Nash, this is his first year ever coaching. So I mean, it doesn't matter how much talent you have, man. You got to be able to coach. And for him to being a rookie, you know what I mean? His first year coaching, man, no matter how much talent you got, you still got to be able to guide them. He was never able to take Phoenix Suns to a championship.
Speaking of overrated MVPs,
Speaking of which,
that is not a knock on Steve, man. I love Steve.
Oh
yeah,
man,
bro. Yeah,
Steve's one of those guys you
won back-to-back MVP awards. I mean,
so we got another one from one of the members in the chat here. He asked if you have any crazy AI Larry Brown story. I mean, we just heard we just heard the GM used to have to hide AI's jerseys from him.
I want to hear your thoughts on that. I want to hear your thoughts on that. The Billy King story that we heard about him hiding Allen's jersey. Whenever Allen was hurt, they had to hide his jersey to keep him from playing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't believe in missing no games. He didn't care what was going on. Like, I had to literally be like missing a leg for him to miss a game, man. Like a lot of times, and you know, a lot of people get the story so, you know, misconstrued about him about talking about the practice, the practice thing. But I mean, it was hard for him to practice because he had so many injuries. He was hurt. People didn't understand how many injuries this guy was playing with. Like, you had to be somebody on his team to understand how many injuries that he was, you know, accruing throughout the games. Like, how is he going to practice? You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, this was after, you know, the year that I was there, and people didn't understand why he was saying it. But I always tell people all the time, like, the year that we made it to the finals, Allen Iverson never really practiced due to his injuries. You know what I mean? Due to his injury, he never practiced. So, you know, the year after, when people kept talking about him not practicing, he couldn't understand, like, what people are talking about. Like, man, we really sitting around here talking about practice, and he's really thinking.
So Jermaine just gave us a little bit more insight onto the whole practice.
He's really thinking in his mind, like, man, do you know how many injuries that I have and what I'm playing through, and y'all sitting around here talking about practice? Like, people didn't understand like what he was meaning, but if you played with him and you understand it, you'd be like, okay, that's what he meant. You know what I mean? So a lot of the whole world be like, man, how you keep talking about practice? Man, you know how many injuries he played with year in and year, like all throughout those playoffs, and you know, even during the Sixers finals run, he was hurt throughout all the playoffs. He was hurt during that whole season. He was hurt. He couldn't practice. Because the time that he had to hit, like, that's the only time that he could try to get better is during the practice time.
he's like that's his rest of recovery.
That he wins an MVP. You know.
That part.
Yeah. When you play with a guy like that, when you play with a guy like that, does it drive you crazy to watch these guys take time off for load management nowadays? Like, does that drive you nuts?
Hey, listen, man, I promise you, man, I tell people all the time, man, like the guys, you know, during my era, you know, when I was in the league,
just
wasn't
different
missing
breeds.
games. So when people talk about load management and then me playing with a guy like Allen Iverson, who would like you had literally like take both of his legs and 2 arms away from him to miss a game. You know what I mean? So yes, it does get frustrating, but I do get it being a player. You know what I mean? Like you really want to further your career. I get it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to go out here and injure things worse or take some time off where I can be able to get ready for the playoff. It's a different game now, so you really can't be mad at the things that's happening now. But I mean, when you come from my era, people always say, yeah, the older era, they be hating on the younger guys. But I mean, it's not so much hating. It's just
I don't think
how
it's hating.
we
It's
built.
just you guys come from a different thing where things were played differently. It's not hate. It's like, listen, you guys aren't not having to go through the battlefield we went through.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's sitting there saying like, and it's not like that. Like even the guys who came from like the 80s and 90s they have a different view spectrum of what the guys from your era and to this next era has come through. It's just it's always going to be differently. Like it's the same thing when we look at music differently, like when we talk about different eras of music and stuff like that. It's I always say like we're always talking about. You always hear about it now. Everyone's talking about LeBron or Jordan, but LeBron or Jordan. I'm like, well, why can't we have Jordan be the GOAT and King James was just King James?
That part, and I tell people,
why can't like they both have their own spots up there? They're both special in their own way. Like I don't get.
And you know what, man? Like I get so tired of that comparison, man, because I'm still trying to understand why is Kobe Bryant not even in these conversations.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my God!
You know what I mean? People always ask.
You just skip right over it.
People always ask me, like, man, who do you think who's better, LeBron? I was like, first of all, to me,
Kobe was that dude.
The closest thing breathing to Michael Jordan is Kobe Bryant. So I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm
with you there, dude.
I'm the biggest LeBron James fan ever. But when you're talking about the best who ever done it, man, there's nobody mirroring Michael Jordan other than Kobe. Kobe's next. Like he's a spitting image of the best player that ever played the game.
Yes.
Why isn't he never in conversation when you talking about who?
I love it.
Now, obviously the Sixers fans are popping out. They're like, Iverson needs his love too. Is Allen just one of those things? What didn't get the help he needed here in Philadelphia, and then by the time he got time to mature himself, his body was just falling apart, and he couldn't get it done anymore.
I'm just gonna say this, man, because I had the opportunity to play with Allen Iverson. I had the opportunity to play with Kobe Bryant, man. I'm just gonna say this. Allen Iverson was one of those guys that was, I promise you, just had God gifted talent, man. You know what I mean? Like, I never seen a guy that probably didn't touch a ball in the month and come down and run circles around the guy after not even being on the court. You know what I mean? Like, his talent was just on a whole nother level. It was just God-given talent. But then, I'm playing with Kobe Bryant, who I see him putting in the work like every single day. I never seen a guy work harder than Kobe Bryant in my life. I would sit there and watch myself, and I was a guy that worked hard as hell. To be able to go watch him night in and night out and watching him at practices and see, his regimen and all that, I'm looking at him like, man, I don't know if I want to be that good if I got to work hard as him.
Hey, man. So it's heavy weighs the crown, man. Heavy weighs the crown, right?
It's no knock on Allen Iverson, because he's definitely one of the greatest players that ever played the game as well. But for me to be able to see two different guys, these are two different guys that I watch night in and night out, and then during practices. I've watched Kobe Bryant actually put in the work to be one of the best players to ever play in the game. And Allen Iverson was one of the guys that I just seen that just had the God-given talent to be one of the greatest guys ever played. And there's a difference.
When did AI ever talk about his football days? Because I mean, like for me, like I've heard the stories about Allen saying that he thinks he was a better football player than basketball player. To me, that's got to be absolutely crazy. But what type of stories did you hear firsthand from him as far as that went?
I mean, it wasn't just stories, man. He's bringing film, man. He wanted everybody to know that he was that guy in football. He brought in high school footage, like days he come in bringing in the football where he wanted to pass and show his quarterback skills. And then, he always talked about like, yeah, I was in school with, a lot of people forget that he come from the same hometown as Michael Vick and Aaron Brooks, who were starting quarterbacks, and he was Mr. Football, you know what I mean, in Virginia. So he was better quarterbacks than those two guys. So he was that athletically gifted where he could have chose he could have chose either sport. But
That's
I think
crazy.
he lasted longer in basketball. Football, I don't know if he'd have lasted as long.
You know what's funny is like if you think of Allen in football and his size and all that, like he's like the perfect like breed of like for what a quarterback is supposed to be like nowadays, Kyler Murray and those guys, right? Like it just was the wrong generation for him to play football, but that's almost what I could picture him being is that breed of player. It's really crazy that like you play with him and like he was that obsessed with the idea of how good of a football player he was.
No, he loved football, man. I promise you. Like you could never get him talking about other like even football season, man. He talked about every play, every position. Like he was obsessed with the game of football, and he would let everybody know. Trust me, every day he would come in with a football, or he would be talking about football to let people know how good he was in football.
Can you only imagine how crazy this town would have been if you had a guy like Allen who did like stuff like that? What Dion did was play two sports. Can you imagine him being like a Sixer and then Sundays going across the
we would love a guy like that, man. Oh my God, in this city.
Oh man.
And he was that good, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's scary almost, man. And, he even talked about it during his Hall of Fame speech. Like, you know what I mean? I was one of the best football players ever, man. And I'm sitting here being inducted in the Hall of Fame for basketball.
Anybody, he said he was Mr. Football in Virginia, right? Like anybody that's Mr. Football, I mean, that's crazy to think that, like, like that's you're legit if you're that good in both sports. You're winning Mr. Football, and then
after he won the state championship in football, they was like, "What is he gonna do next?" He was like, "I'm going to win the state championship in basketball."
And then wound up going to play basketball instead.
Yeah, that's insane. That's good stuff, man.
Now, obviously, as far as your career, I'm sure you obviously didn't get to do kind of some of the things you wanted to do. Do you have anything like you wish you were able to kind of be a part of, or anything like regrets you may have? Like obviously, anyone who's a professional athlete, these sports are unforgiving. It's rough on your body. It's rough on the mind. So, is there anything you wish you would have accomplished out there that maybe you weren't able to get to?
Man, I tell you what, man, I was just blessed to be able to play 8 years in the NBA at my position, man, to be able to play the small forward position, man, the 2 and 3 position, one of the toughest positions at my time, to be able to survive 8 years in the NBA. Kids ask me all the time, why did I lead the NBA? I'm like, man, nobody wants to lead the NBA.
No one ever wants to leave their profession. It just the father time says, guess what? It's time to move on.
And it wasn't even that because, after my 8 years in the NBA, I went over and played in Europe for 8 years. You know what I mean? So I had a 16-year career. And they was like, well, why did you lead the NBA? I was like, well, I'm just going to name 3 or 4 players that came in the league at my position: LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Carmelo Anthony.
It said they ran Daddy out. The talent level caught up, and they ran Daddy out.
And that's just 3. You know what I mean? So it was more people came in, and at that position, man, a lot of people got to go. It's only 450 NBA players in the world every year, so that means some got to go. So, I mean, I was just blessed with the opportunity. I had opportunities to play, different organizations, man. I was just blessed with that opportunity to get that chance, and I made best of every opportunity, every opportunity that I had. So, I mean,
we
Favorite
got
players right now.
go ahead.
What'd you say?
Who are some of your favorite players right now to watch? Who are some of your favorite guys in the league to watch and be like, wow, I really like that. He's exciting. He's fun to watch.
Man, I tell you, it's two players that I love to watch, but it's two players that I hate for the kids to watch.
Okay.
and it's Steph Curry and James Harden. And those are two guys that I love their games. I love to watch them play, but because I know how much work they put into their craft. But kids don't understand how much work they put into their craft, because I honestly feel like every shot that they shoot is bad shots. But for them, it's not, because they work hard as hell to be able to perfect what they do. You know what I mean? Like, to shoot a step back three-pointer is hard as hell by itself, not even thinking about a defender being there. And then, a lot of kids don't even understand who Steph Curry's dad was. They don't even know that he was one of the greatest shooters ever played in the game.
He was on that Raptors team that you guys that
he
01
was a ball boy since he was 2 or 3 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
Being around NBA, but working, being a ball boy and watching how you're supposed to, be professional. You know what I mean? For a long time. So that's the kind of stuff that kids miss. They don't understand that they perfected the basics. You know what I mean? They perfected the basics before they was able to do that. So that's why I say I love to watch those players, but I kind of hate the fact that, how kids see it. And, when I talk to kids, I'm like, listen, man, y'all watching this wrong thing when it comes to Steph Curry, because y'all see how well he shoot the basketball. I say, you guys should be watching his warm-ups. Watch what he does during his warm-ups. Watch his regimen and his routine during his warm-ups and see what he does. If you just watch that, then you'll be able to see how hard he worked in his craft, because he don't come in the gym shooting three-pointers. These kids come in and think as soon as they come in the gym, they're shooting three-pointers like Steph Curry, and they don't understand that's not even what he does. He don't walk in the gym shooting three-pointers.
Not everybody can knock down 35-footers.
Right.
So we got another one from you for on here on the YouTube comment. Wants to know who's the funniest teammate you played with? Regardless if it's NBA or even some of the stuff you did overseas. Who's some of the funniest guys you played with?
The funniest?
Yeah.
Oh man. Funniest. Well, Allen Iverson was one of the funniest guys you could play with. Funny because like some of the things he said, you'd be like, "Are you kidding?" You know what I mean? Like really just say.
Who was the biggest practical joker?
Like
who was the guy that pulled the most jokes on people?
I would say Vlade Divac was probably one of the biggest practical jokers that I ever played when I was with the Lakers. Man, he was just a funny guy, man. He set up one of our rookies. He set up one of our rookies one time, man, and it went on, and he ended up recording it. Having a limo picking him up and everything, thinking he was going to meet this girl called Lucy Liu. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with Lucy Liu. And he filmed the whole thing, and the rookie thinking he was going to meet Lucy Liu and all this kind of stuff, and telling us, all this. And then, having Kobe in the background to be a part of it, man. It was hilarious. He's one of the best practical jokers I ever been around, Vlade Divac.
That's great, man. We're getting it's absolute great stuff from you tonight, Jumaine. Zach, anything before we let him go and let him enjoy the rest of his evening?
I've had a blast, man. It is. I'm Stephen. Good stuff. I can't. Some of the inside stories that you've told. I mean, that's just that's you can't beat it. It's just awesome stuff. Been a great time. One of the best. In my opinion, it's the best guest we've ever had on our show. I'm just saying.
Some of the best ones that we've had here on the weekly roundup. Always a good one. One more before we wrap things up. Ted wanted to know: was Iverson a big trash talker, or who was the biggest trash talker that you played against? Who was the guy that was always in your ear?
I like that one.
You know what, man? You'd be surprised, man. Allen Iverson didn't talk much.
I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he just let his game did it.
Yeah, he didn't really do too much talking, man. But one of the biggest trash talkers during my time was Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett was one of those guys that he from the time he stepped on the court to the time he left, he was a trash talker. Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker when they was in Boston together. Those two guys.
Nice.
I mean, and the reason why I respected them trash talking because they would talk trash whether they was up 20 or down 20. It didn't really matter with those two guys, and you got to respect that. You know, most guys,
it's the game inside the game, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean. So some guys only talk trash when they're up, but you get those two guys, they down 20 and still talking trash. You got to respect that. Like, all right, well,
we heard all the famous
Kobe
ones. Like something all the famous Kobe trash talking stories out there. But like, was he like? He could be a trash talker, but was he that guy like at all times, or did he just pick his moments to be like savage and take it to somebody and be like, "I'm gonna stick it"?
Man, look here, man. Kobe was a savage, man. Kobe was just, man, on a whole nother level than anybody else I ever been around, man. Like he was just that guy that just intimidated you just because his presence, and then if he said anything, it made it 10 times worse.
Joel just tied one of Allen's records from the 2001 season, the quickest to 1,000 points in the fewest games.
Okay, that's some good stuff there.
30 both took them both 34 games to hit 1,000 points. It's not bad.
Who's
your MVP this year, Jumaine?
That's Doc rubbing off on him.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. All right, we're gonna reiterate what Zach says here, and then we'll wrap it up with you. Joel Embiid, will he be the MVP this season?
Man, I see no reason why he couldn't be the MVP this year. Long as he stay healthy. People talk about he hadn't played enough games, but I think that what he done, during the time he's been healthy, man, I don't think they can take it away from him. I haven't seen anybody else that can.
Not on that level. Yeah,
not on the level that he's been playing.
Not on the level that JoJo's been on this season. He's been on a man on a mission.
And the crazy thing is, I knew it was going to happen once they signed Doc. I knew it was going to happen because I'm a very big fan of Joel. I just think that he just needed somebody like Doc. He needed a Doc.
Somebody that like,
and it's not anything against Brett either. It's not anything against Brett either. It's just Doc has those intangibles that you have them or you don't.
Nothing against Brett. I love Brett. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people like I had nothing against him. I just think that the younger generation, like Joel and Ben, they needed more. Like more somebody somebody from a new different era that be like, listen here, man, we don't care about none of that. Get your ass in there and do this. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
They need that.
All right. Well, before we let you go, Jermaine, what we typically do is throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, shoot at your social media sites, any charities you're working with, obviously, let everyone know where to keep up with your basketball camps and stuff like that. And the time is yours, my friend.
I do, man. I wanted to, first of all, I work with, I have a company, Mindful Sport and Performance. It's a mental health company. I'm actually holding an event in Philadelphia. Well, not Philadelphia, in Delaware, where I'm having an event June 11th. I actually got the 76ers G League facility in Delaware where I will be, because when I grew up, man, I whenever I had kids, when I was growing up going to school, I always had kids that was had disabilities, and I always would just stare at them, You know what I mean? Because I just never had any experience where, that I know how to handle that situation. So what we're doing, June 11th, we're bringing in a lot of kids. We're bringing in 140 kids, and we're bringing in kids with disabilities, and we're bringing in kids, normal kids, where they get an opportunity to have one big field day. We're going to have 7 events. We're going to have pickleball. We're going to have kickball. We're going to have volleyball, basketball, baseball, like 7 different sports where it's one big field day. It's going to start at like 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to end at 5 o'clock, where kids get to be on a rotation. We're teaching these kids to be able to, get that experience with kids with disabilities, so they learn how to be nice to these kids and be normal. You know what I mean? Like make the kids with disabilities feel like they're a part of something and have a good time. We have the 76ers who are going to be a part of it. We got the Phillies that's going to be involved in this event. We're still reaching out to, a lot of other, we want to reach out to the Eagles. We haven't, got in contact with them yet, but June 11th, we're trying to bring in as many, people in the area, in the tri-state area, where they can come out and support what we got going on to try to promote, anti-bullying and, just being, getting that experience with kids that, not as fortunate having, disabilities, where they get that experience that I never had coming in. The organization that we're working with is called Base Able. It's a nonprofit organization. Tony, one of the guys, he played professional baseball with the Boston Red Sox. So he was a pitcher, and his career ended to a drunken driving accident. And he had to, turn his whole life over, where he had to learn how to walk again and all that kind of stuff. So he did a lot of stuff with, the disabilities and, at Olympics and stuff like that. So we got together where, he liked what we were doing with the mental health issues and stuff like that. So we wanted to combine it and come up with something where we can help these kids, enjoy. And disabilities, what these kids are having, where we can make them feel, welcome, and people, feel good about coming out and having a good time.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing, my friend. If there's anything we can do on our end to help you get the word out or anything, please let us know. That's absolutely awesome. Love it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and again, appreciate your time this evening, afternoon, and definitely looking forward to having you back on here again in the future. Again, guys, June 11th, if you guys are in the area and you have some kids who has needs, make sure you guys are checking out Jamaine's program.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, it was definitely a pleasure. Looking forward to having you back on here again. Yeah,
all right, appreciate it, man.
All right, man. You have a good one.
All right.
All right, everyone. That was NBA veteran, former Sixer, Jermaine Jones. Absolutely fun stuff with that. Great stuff with him. Some cool insight. We get to talk a little bit more basketball. We don't get to do that a whole lot. Get some.
I'll tell you what,
insight like that. Yeah.
I think all of our interviews that we do here, like what I love about it is how real we are. I just feel like we're having a normal conversation with it. It's like having a conversation with one of your friends, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Some of the stories that we heard from Jumaine there, just the firsthand story, that's unlike anything we've heard from anybody. I think so far on.
Well, no,
our
I mean
show.
dude, I think if you I was sort of saying because we had Lenny on this week, like he had some absolutely fun stuff, but
sure. Yeah,
Lenny's one of the ones out there. The Ken Shamrock was fun. I mean, dude, when we had Chris Serra on here and he damn near died in a car accident. We had Chris Serra on here, and he was sitting there doing from the side of the road, is getting towed out in the car accident. Remember that one?
Yeah, that was a memorable one. Sure.
I mean, listen, we broken news here. We had Vinny Pazanza on here telling us, like all before the whole Mike Tyson fight, that no one knew who was going to be the judges and this, that, and the third. He was letting us know right here on the air. So listen, we're always having some fun doing some things over here on ATD Radio. Man.
Jermaine's somebody I think, come Sixers playoff time, what a perfect time to have him on with us. Maybe do some live reaction type stuff, something like that. Would it be we were talking about if we could get the Sixers net series that we were all talking about and get him on to do some live reaction net series. Ooh, man,
we'll have some fun with that. Definitely. I definitely do want to help. Like anyone who has special needs kids and want to be involved in athletics. Please make sure you're reaching out to his social media accounts. I came across him on Facebook. Again, he should be over there on Twitter. Then I think it's his name's reversed on Twitter, so it's Jones Jumaine. And guys, it's real rare you get athletes that go out their way to kind of go out and put these programs together to make these things happen. So when you're able to kind of get like that, you want to get behind guys like that. He touched on some cool things too, like both with Kobe and AI and stuff like that. So listen. He may not be like this great big star that everyone knows, but listen, we got love for people who come and play for this town, and obviously he's got made love for Philly, coming back here and reaching out to his roots back here, and he was here for a season, so
it's not just about playing here, right?
Yeah.
Like that team that year, he could be here for a season. No matter one season, how long.
But as he just sitting there saying that was a crazy, as Nancy was talking about right here, it was just a crazy year. Eric Snow, Aaron McKee, Jermaine, they all.
And I love the fact that we were able to bring up and piggyback off what he was talking about with that team. Like the fact that that team, everybody talking about Allen and how Allen carried. Yeah, Allen did carry that team, but like Jermaine talked about, I mean, how many people won hardware? It was just the perfect breed of everything, right? Allen with the MVP and Larry with the coach of the year. Yep. Aaron McKee was sixth man. Dikembe was the defensive player. It all works so. That's the definition of a team right there. Like, I almost get why they're saying we were one of the most overrated finals teams. I get, because they're saying outside of Allen Iverson, you didn't have any other stars.
Yeah, but also but here's the thing: if you go and look at those guys' numbers that year, they were having their best years. So
yeah, how can you sit there and say that a team?
I think we just touched on it. We touched on it because
that's four different awards.
We touched on it because they weren't big names. They weren't the superstars. They weren't the Kevin Garnetts of the world. That's why.
Well, Larry Brown's one of the biggest names in coaching, right? I mean, he's won a championship at the college level and at the NBA level, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy that's one of the coaching legends of all time. Right? I mean,
absolutely.
I do feel Allen was the heart and soul that ran everything with that team. But if you're really getting down to it, to Jermaine's point, and if you're in Jermaine's shoes, right, if you're one of those guys that's on that team and you look at it and you say, we took, like he said, we took home all the hardware that year, right? We took home all the hardware.
And the funny thing is the reason why he wound up on that team, and the funny thing is, if people remember correctly, the reason why he wound up on that team is because we had injuries. We needed another guy, and he was the number one pick. And people were so upset of us giving up a pick to go get him.
I remember him. See, do you say he was only here for that's so crazy to me that he was only here for a year? Because I can remember I remember Jermaine O'Neal as a Sixer. To me, he was like a Sixer for life. That's how much that's how special that team was to me as a little kid watching that kid 8, 9 years old.
He's hitting on some heartstrings here. The Theo Latver for fucking.
Well, but that was Theo's fault. Theo got hurt, right? I remember Theo Ratliff, and Theo got hurt, and we were like, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do?" And what changed everything that year was the All-Star game, right? I'll never forget the All-Star game where Allen went off and did what he did and won the MVP award in the All-Star game. But what we saw that year in that All-Star game was how Allen and Dikembe could play together. And right after that All-Star game, they went out and said, "Wow, Theo Ratliff's hurt. the perfect piece. And almost even better. How could you upgrade from Theo Rattler? You found a way to do it with the Kende Mutombo. You know what I mean? Like it was almost impossible to do, and you still found a way to do it. That's how crazy that trade was.
All right. Well, as we're getting ready to run off here, Atlanta is now up 5-4 in the Phillies in the top of the ninth. We're about to see what's going to happen there, and it looks like freaking Segura just grounded out, so the Phillies are in trouble. Might wind up losing that game when everything's said and done.
Why?
And the Sixers, the Sixers are at half. They are up 66-53 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. So
after the fucking Pelicans, you know what? You want to talk about rants? If we had more time,
I know, right, man? We always get it to the end. Like right as we get to the end, it's like, damn it.
Hold on, I'm just saying, as we go off the air, we want to talk. The Sixers, yes, I love our chances to make a deep playoff run this year, but you ain't winning diddly fucking shit if you're losing to the Pelicans, okay? You're just not. We ain't making a deep playoff run. You ain't winning an Eastern Conference championship, an NBA championship. If you can't beat the Pelicans, you're in fucking trouble. And we couldn't beat the Pelicans last night or 2 nights ago or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is gonna wrap this one up. Another fun one. We got some Phil's reaction. We got some thoughts on the Eagle stuff this week. Great stuff with Jermaine Jones. Yeah, that should be another fun one, guys. If not for nothing, come back and just listen to Jumaine. If you don't want to listen to our innate ramblings, listen to what he's got to say. Again, we have another guest lined up for you next week. Not an athlete guest. You have to figure out what I got lined up for you guys. You'll find out in the coming days and weeks or moments. Who knows? Other than that, I'm Steve. He's Zach Burr. This is another episode of the Weekly Roundup. We will